Hello everyone, this is Gary DeTonicourt from WeatherSnapshot.com. Today I am building my first ever PC, and I've constructed the parts to be efficient at video editing and of course editing photos. So I'll show you the parts that I have. We'll start with the ASRock motherboard. Here you can see that I have it almost ready to go, and it's the Z370 Extreme 4. The chip I'm going to put that in there is the i7 core. It's the 8700K. I'm going to put it into a Rosewill case. Here you can see the case. I've already taken the tempered glass panels off, so I will start working on that. And I have 32 gigabytes of memory, a 650 watt power supply, I have a water cooler, EVGA loop cooler, and it is a 240, and the Nvme GTX 1070 video card. And then for storage, I have the 970 EVO SSD, and that is 500 gigabytes. That's what I'm going to install the operating system on. And then I have a Western Digital Blue 1 terabyte that will be for usable memory for photos or for video or whatever it might be. Alright, so those are the pieces. Here is the manual. I've changed a lot of computer parts in my day, but I've never built a complete system. So this is going to be interesting. Hopefully not a complete disaster. And but hey, I watched a YouTube video, so I think I'll be okay, I hope. They claim that this is easy. We'll see. So I'm going to start by taking a look at this plate and seeing if I can put it in. And then I'll get to some things on the motherboard. It's said to try to look if your motherboard is going to fit. At this point I don't even know what direction it's going to go in, so it looks like it's going to fit like this. The tall way. Yep, here are all of the connections. Now I just got to figure out how this plate is going to line up with that. Okay, it looks like sound and Ethernet are right there. So this should go at the bottom. Alright, so. Alright, to move this video along, I'm going to fast forward and maybe comment on a few things that are going on. I'm going to complete part of the build here, and unfortunately the video will cut out before the whole computer is built. But here you can see I'm mounting that back plate, and I'm going to be sizing up the motherboard to find out exactly where it's going to go. And now I'm taking it apart to begin to mount things onto the motherboard. So right now all of the packaging is coming off. And I'm going to take my time. I'm going to read the directions and really going to make sure that I do it right. I don't want to have to do this over and over 2 or 3 times. So I took my time. I read the instructions. I made sure that I got it right. And you know what? It worked the first time I booted it up. I didn't have to do any troubleshooting. Everything worked out fine. So here you can see I'm aligning the CPU, and now I'm about to lock it in place.
Now I'm preparing the RAM. There's 32 megabytes of RAM in that package. I'm looking for the right slots to put the RAM in. It's not always just put them in any order. In fact, in this build, I actually had to skip a slot when inserting the RAM. If you had 4 sticks, you would just put one in every slot, but in this case I had 2 sticks, so I had to skip a slot in between. Alright, here you can see I'm really taking my time to make sure that I have the right information for putting in the hard drives. These are the M.2 Nvme drive, whatever you want to call them. So I just inserted the first one. That's the one that my hard drive, my operating system is going to be installed on, and that's the Evo drive. I believe it's 512 gigabytes. And the only tricky thing about this, as you can see there, is working with a tiny little screw, because it keeps falling, and then you gotta. My screwdriver is not magnetic, so that's a problem. Here's the second drive that I'm putting in. That one's 1 gigabyte. Right now I'm unboxing the cooling system. It's a water-cooled PC, EVGA. So I'm aligning the parts of the radiator here, and I'm looking for what's the right orientation to put this on. Okay, now I'm adding the mounting studs. The cooling paste was pre-applied, so I didn't have to do that. I just need to screw it down nice and tight. Those are the power leads. Alright, soon this part of the video is going to end because my camera shut off, so I don't have a complete recording of the build. But all that was left was mounting the radiator in the top of the cooler, mounting the motherboard into the side of the case, and then I had to put in my GPU, which was the GeForce, NVIDIA GeForce 1070 with 8 gigabytes of RAM. And then the power supply, a 650 watt power supply by CORSAIR, had to be put in, and then I had to wire the power to all of those devices. Now this is, I'm making this video about 6 months after building this PC, and the one problem that I had was the power supply died, so I had to send it back to the manufacturer and put in a new one. But so far the other parts of the PC have been working fine. Okay, and so here you can see the final build. The lighting inside is blue. Blue is my favorite color, so that works out well.
Alright, so this is Premiere Pro 2019, and it is a very intensive program for your computer to run. And I'm going to be using 4K video files, which is also very hard on your computer. So this is, you know, not a very scientific test, but it was what the computer was built for, to handle photo projects in software like Lightroom, Photoshop, and Topaz, and most specifically to be able to handle 4K video editing in Premiere Pro. So here you can see I have a 4K clip on the timeline, and one of the most important things is when I play it back, it plays back nice and smooth, and I have 0 dropped frames, so there's no problem with that. There's no problem using any of the tools and moving clips around and exporting. The export times have been pretty fast. They've been faster than anything I've been able to do before. Now when we look at the performance when scrubbing, it scrubs through the 4K video just fine, but it's not perfectly smooth, and it does skip some frames, which is not a big deal. You can just go in slower, shorter bursts till you hit the frame that you want. To me, the important thing is that it plays back smoothly with very little drop frames. See here now it says it dropped 4 frames because I had been moving it around. And it provides a much better editing experience than what I was using before.
Okay, so this is a performance test of Topaz Studio 2. This program is known to need a lot of power because it has to render all of these effects that it's putting onto the images. Here you can see I've done some adjustments, and now it's loading all of those previews on the right. There's got to be over 100 different previews there that all have to be applied to the picture to show you that little sort of preview of what it would look like. So the speed is pretty decent. Every time I make a change, you can see this little blue bar going across the top, and then the change will be applied to the image. So you need a pretty beefy computer to work with programs like this. This build meets, and in some cases slightly exceeds, Topaz's requirements.
Alright, now I'm going to give you an idea of its performance in Adobe Lightroom, which also uses a lot of computer power. And one of the reasons it does is because it's got to update the image as you move the slider. As you can see here, as I move the slider around, there's no lag in between my slider movements and the final result in the image. And that's important. It's hard to edit when the update of the picture is slower than what you're moving around. Now, one of the things that can really use a lot of power is the brush tool. When you let's say I'll brush in an effect of more exposure, there's a slight amount of delay, but you got to remember I'm using some screen capture software in addition to this program, so a small amount of lag here is not bad. Alright, so that is the brush tool. So overall, I think the performance is working pretty well.
Yo, that PC's a beast, and you can build one for yourself. I'll put all the links in the description down below. It's great for stills and it's great for video editing, and it's definitely something you should check out. Also, don't forget to leave me a comment down below. What did you think of the components that I chose? Could I have chosen better components? Are there components that would have been cheaper and just as effective? Or are there components that you thought I should have gone even higher end, even though the price should have been more? I paid maybe around $1,600 for this build around the time that I made it about 6 months ago. Things may have changed in price a little bit, but I found it to be worthwhile. I really like it, and I think you will too. Don't forget to like and share this video, and also click the little bell icon so that you'll be notified the next time I have a video. Again, this has been Garrity Tonicourt from WellThanASnapshot.com saying, see ya.